Welcome to Theater Talk Boston. Today we're joined by Dan Pryor and Katrina Z. Pavao, who plays Seymour Krelborn, and Audrey in Little Shop of Horrors, playing at the Lyric Stage Company of Boston now through October 6th. Hi folks, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, how's it going?
Great. So I think most people are familiar with Little Shop of Horrors, but if a friend asked you, how would you describe what Little Shop of Horrors is about?
Ooh. I think the best way that I would describe it is, imagine the craziest 1990s Saturday morning cartoon comes to life. You know, think like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or like Street Sharks or all those crazy shows they used to stick on Saturday mornings. And that's what's happening here. It's just kind of a no-holds-barred, campy, zany, fun show.
But still very real, very relatable in terms of like everything that they go through and the power of greed and money and love and what happens when it all falls apart. Maybe if you didn't see it, then maybe it doesn't fall apart.
Amazing. The show is so iconic, and there's so many countless productions, which we'll get to in a second. But what was your first time experiencing this? Did you see it as a child? Was your movie the first time you saw it? Tell us.
I did this show my sophomore year of high school, and my high school was like very big into theater, so this was like small cast. If you made it in here, you were like, that was it.
Right.
And it was like an incredible experience. Definitely different this time around in terms of like understanding the show, even more understanding B films and the comedy of it all. But that was my first experience, and I loved every second of it. Yeah.
I had a similar experience. My first time interacting with the show was in a production as well, 20 years ago. I was doing it with a professional theater
So you were like 2 years old?
I'm a little bit older than that. No, I was 13 the first time I did it. So for those of you who are doing the math out there, please don't. It was my first professional production, and the director thought it'd be absolutely hysterical to cast the youngest member of the cast as Mr. Mushnick, the oldest character. It was just incredibly fun. Everybody was, much older than I was, and they were all professional actors, and it was a grand old time. That's what turned me onto the show, and I've been obsessed with it ever since.
I love that. As I'm sure you probably know, obviously you guys know, but there's been almost a renaissance of sorts of Little Shop coming back with this off-Broadway production, a huge production out in San Diego. Why do you think it's coming back right now, and what is it about this show that audiences just love so much?
Well, there's a big identifiable monster in it that you can kind of place all of your own anxieties, fears, and all those things on and kind of forget them for a little while. But also, I think it's because at the core of it, this is one of the great story archetypes. It's, for those of you who aren't familiar with the show, it's very Faustian. Seymour makes a deal with a proverbial devil to get everything his heart desires, and then it all starts to unravel on him, which I think a lot of people can find a lot to relate to right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. And it's just a classic comedy, and I think even though a lot of stuff falls apart in the show, sometimes people just need a really good laugh, and I feel like we all need that right now in this world, and this show definitely gives it to you.
I would agree. I saw the production on opening, and it was great. I loved it. I love the show so much. I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about having your Audrey 2 played by a female. Maybe if the director told you why that was her choice, and just like how that experience has been.
Yeah, well, I love it. Yewande and I go way back to our MFA days, and I think she just embodies everything about what Audrey 2 can do. And it's an Audrey. It should be played by a female. Why not, right?
Knowing Rachel, this is my 6th production with her. I think I've been working with her for years and years now. it was definitely a very active choice. I know there have been other productions that have kind of said, well, we'll just cast it how it falls. And I think this was a very active choice, and I think it was to give Audrey to a unique position of strength. There's this thing we talked about a lot during the production, during the rehearsal process, which was that there's this odd nurturing aspect that goes on with Audrey 2 and Seymour in kind of both directions. And I think she was also influenced by the movie a little bit with Mean Green Mother from Outer Space, which, kind of leaves a little impression. But I think Yewande is absolutely killing it. I'm so excited that she is playing Audrey 2. She just has the entire essence of that character just, built into her. It's great.
You don't even see her, but you feel every single action, every facial movement. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
For me, it's almost as if it's giving the show a whole new meaning, because now we're getting Audrey 2 as a female, and we're seeing Seymour fighting between these two females in his life. But anyways, your cast is filled with Boston greats. What is it like coming to the theater every night and working with them?
Incredible.
Yeah. Everyone is so hardworking, so professional, and so supportive. And it feels really good to be able to come to work every day and feel like you're a part of something really special. Since day one, this has been an ensemble, and Rachel stressed that, and we all stress that. And yeah, the Boston greats are very great.
Yeah.
What has it been like crafting these characters, because they are so well known, and what is it like putting your own spin on it and working together?
We talked a lot about that, especially
So much.
Dan and I, because with these popular characters, we want to pay tribute to them.
Right.
But as actors, we want to have that individuality to them as well, and to inspire a new way of looking at both characters. So it's been a journey. It's been a difficult journey. Nothing's easy, but I think we've come to a great understanding of who these people are and how we personally relate to these characters, but still giving the audience what they truly love about Audrey and Seymour.
Yeah, Rachel and Katrina and I did an incredible amount of table work on this. We met before the process even started, the three of us together, to just talk and start hashing things out. And it's interesting, there was a moment about a week before tech where Rachel came up to both of us and was like, okay, so we've built in all of these layers, and we've added all this pathos, and we've added all this these kind of depth of character feelings, and we've brought all this honesty to it. We got to kind of go the opposite direction now, because we got to remember that this is a campy show. These are, archetype characters. They are very much in the commedia style. So we brought them to life in this wonderful, human, realistic way. But we can't forget the comedy. So we had to do this big pendulum swing back the other way to kind of drag everything that we had worked on for weeks and weeks and weeks back into the kind of the heart and the real
And the style.
style of the piece. Yeah.
How have Boston audiences been reacting to this performance? I've been in Boston for 4 or 5 years now, and I don't remember a big production like this. And I feel like when it was announced last season, everyone was talking about it. So what has that response been like?
It seems to be really great.
I have so many people that are always saying, yeah, I'll come see your show. Yeah, absolutely. And that's only after I've already talked to them about the show. The amount of people that have sought me out, my friends that are like, oh my God, I just heard that you're at Little Shop. Can you get me tickets? And it's like, where have you been the past 6 years of my performance career? Yes. Yeah, please come to the show. Yeah, so I think people are just... I know several individuals who have said, I don't like musicals, but I love Little Shop, so I'm coming to see this.
Yeah, it's amazing how influential this show is in so many generations. So to have the opportunity to be in this specific production and
Yeah.
get to share this with the Boston audience is really exciting.
And the houses we've had have been so appreciative and
so
giving,
Yeah.
both on stage or in the house and afterwards in the lobby. It's been great.
Do you have a favorite part of the show to do every night, either that you perform in or that you like watching?
Yeah, well, I love the whole show. I know that's cliche, I'm sorry. I do always look forward to the opening of Act 2 through Suddenly Seymour. It's like the most amount of time that Audrey and Seymour get to be on stage together alone, and like you really get to see them build their relationship and that foundation, and so that's always fun for me.
I really like Dadu because of how much it encapsulates the style of the piece. It's like we've had this big opening number and then a second big opening number, and then we've had, an introduction to these characters, and then we just dropped this weird spoken word thing in there for, with the urchins finally coming out as real, girl group-esque kind of like Supreme style backup dancers, which is fun. But I think one of my favorite things to watch, because I get to watch this every night from the wings, is Katrina doing Summer That's Green.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Oh, and yeah, I just want to say on the record, the urchins' costumes, like my mouth would drop every time they would come out. Like,
Oh my God.
Queen of the costumes.
She has been doing costumes for ballet in Boston for
Years. I don't know.
at least a couple decades. I'm not going to say any more because she'll kill me. But
She's the real deal.
she is such a engineer when it comes to costumes.
Oh, yeah.
The jacket for the second puppet, she and I went back and forth for weeks on well, this isn't quite working out here, let's do this. Okay, great, I've already got an idea. She'd go and I have for that costume a special sleeve and a special harness, and I've got secret pockets and all this sort of stuff, all to make that plant just come alive, to the point where I have friends that know the show and have gone, how did that was you doing that puppet, right? I was like, yeah, that was me. How? Because she's just got it all figured out. She's incredible.
right. If you could play a different character in the show, who would you want to be? And you could change, if you want to play a man or whatever.
Mr. Mushnick, all the way. That's it. I don't have any reason why. He's iconic. The way that Remo does it too. I mean, I could never live up to that, but I just think it's such a great, complicated character, and I'd love to delve into that one day. Maybe there's going to be a Mrs. Mushnick, putting it out there in the universe.
There we go.
Honestly, I'd love to puppeteer. I've been super into puppets ever since I was little. When I did this show the last time when I was 13, our puppeteer had graduated from the UConn puppetry program, where pretty much all the world premiere puppeteers come from, and then went on to work with Jim Henson's Creature Shop, and he worked with me directly during that show and just ignited this incredible love of puppetry, to the point where I've built some puppets myself, and I've done a limited amount of puppeteering, but I just love to get inside that plant and just really have at it with a good apparatus. As long as I'm covered in ice packs, let's just make that clear.
I love that. And our final question that we ask all of our guests on Theater Talk Boston, and it doesn't have to pertain to this show or production, but do you have any fun on-stage mishap stories where things have gone terribly wrong? We've heard some crazy things on this show, but do tell us if you have any. Unless you are all perfect actors and nothing goes wrong.
Never.
Cute.
Oh, God. I mean, there's always the line flubs. There's always the
We did have such a miss.
Okay. Last Wednesday,
Oh, Lord.
Katrina and I went out for Clothes for Renovation. And for those of you unfamiliar with the song, I have a verse by myself Then we go into this big montage of setting up the shop, and then Katrina and I have this little duet.
Right, and I'm coming from like the fastest quick change of the whole world, from Somewhere That's Green into this next song with like literally one tiny little verse that Dan sings. And I come out, and we make eye contact as usual, and we start to sing, and I mean...
Nothing comes out. It's like...
But
and then we manage to sing the same words,
don't know how.
but from the wrong verse.
Yeah, but we somehow looked at each other with panic in our eyes, smiles in our faces, and said the same exact words, and we don't know how, but we did it.
But it was the wrong verse. It was still the wrong verse. They were the same, wrong words.
Yeah. But that was a big mishap.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of hair is in my face.
Yeah. Climbing out of the plant.
Climbing out of the plant. But
Yeah.
that's a daily occurrence.
Yeah. Yeah, this show hasn't had many mishaps. It's been pretty smooth, surprisingly. Just that big one.
We love that. Well, I just want to thank you both so much for chatting with us today. Everyone, go see Little Shop of Horrors playing at the Lyric Stage Company Boston. Get your tickets at lyricstage.com, playing now through October 6th, and get very excited, as I am, for the Thanksgiving play, which opens later in October, because I'm excited for that one too. But thanks you both so much, and best of luck with the rest of the run.
So much. It was great to talk to you.
Of course.